Welcome my dear listeners, stay with me to get the spoilers first and subscribe to the channel. Let's find out what's going to happen on The Young and the Restless. Victor's last-minute rescue saves 4 Newmans from Matt's deadly fire trap. The latest Young and the Restless action in Las Vegas is the kind of soap chaos that begins with one villain smiling too long and ends with the whole family struggling to breathe. Matt Clark has been setting up the Newmans for disaster, and by the time the petrol station becomes a fire trap, it looks like he may finally get the bloodbath he's been chasing. But Victor Newman arrives just in time, transforming a potential Newman funeral into a rescue mission that leaves everyone rattled, burnt, and forever changed. Chelsea's frantic phone call, Victor's quick response, and a team of men sent in to rescue the trapped family prevent Matt's plan from becoming a full-scale massacre. The showdown is brutal. The Newmans are already in bad shape before the explosion even happens. Nick is barely holding on from the bad pills Matt planted. Adam is trying to keep him conscious. Sharon and Noah are trapping with no phones and the landline is useless. Adam has to confess that he pressured Nick to take the drugs in the car so that he could get through the immediate crisis, and Sharon soon realizes that Nick's withdrawal indicates that the addiction problem was already deeper than anyone wanted to admit. Matt doesn't just trap the family physically by blowing up the explosive device. They are caught in the perfect storm of fear, guilt, and a ticking clock. Which is why Matt's gloating is so sickening. He's not just trying to win, he is enjoying it. Spoilers say he thinks the Newmans are just where he wants them, and he talks in riddles long enough for Risa to figure out what is coming. And he plans to blow up the petrol station with Nick, Adam, Sharon, and Noah in it, and he actually does it. The building burns, and for a moment it looks as if he's finally achieved the kind of distraction he's been building toward for weeks. It's a classic Matt move: enjoy the suffering first, then try to erase the evidence with fire. The whole suspense is even more intense with Sienna in the rescue. She is the first to realize how bad Matt's plan is. She is the one who fears the worst as the petrol station goes up in flames. Her panic in the aftermath is important because it tells us how close the nightmare came to being permanent. Sienna has already been haunted by the death of her brother from an overdose, so seeing Nick in danger and Matt spiraling into evidence hits her very personally. That history gives her the kind of emotional urgency that makes the scenes in Vegas feel like more than stunt-driving soap opera. This is what makes Victor's rescue so fulfilling. It only happens because someone else acts first. Chelsea's phone call of desperation gets the rescue machine rolling. When she sees Matt is about to blow up the petrol station, she calls Victor and sends him the coordinates. Victor is not even hesitating, and that matters because it shows he's not just reacting later in the day. After the dangers passed, he is quick to act, which is why the Newmans live through Matt's terrible scheme. According to the recap, Victor presumably sends his men in to save Adam, Nick, Noah, and Sharon before it's too late. That rescue also leaves Victor feeling like the last real line of defense for the family. Nick, Adam, Sharon, and Noah all live, but it's Victor's quick thinking that makes the difference. The scene is constructed so that Matt believes he's totally in control, and then he's not. There is still an explosion, there is still a burning petrol station, but the 4 Newmans live because Victor will not permit the family to be destroyed on his watch. That is the real emotional payoff of the episode. Matt gets his fireball, but Victor stops it from becoming a funeral party. Once the immediate danger has passed, the aftermath is about survival, not rescue. Adam gets together with Chelsea and fills her in, flustered and grateful all at once. When he realizes it was Chelsea that called Victor, he will be so grateful. That reaction is important because it's Chelsea's decision that spares the family the worst possible ending. It also puts Adam in a very different emotional place because how he has to acknowledge the fact that the woman he has been leaning on in a crisis was also the one that saw the way out first. Nick is the next big beat for Adam. The spoilers say Adam forces him to admit the drug addiction and admit that he needs professional help. That is the real consequence of the night. The fire was only the proximate threat. The real problem is that Nick has gotten addicted to the fentanyl Matt used on him. Adam has already admitted that he pushed Nick to take the drugs to keep him going, but now there is no denying the fact Nick needs help. Here we have the groundwork for the next rehab storyline, and the rescue is the point where everyone finally has to stop pretending that the drug issue is a temporary problem. For his part, Nick is no longer avoiding responsibility. He says he would have found a way to get fixed anyway and accepts responsibility for his own action in the wake of the episode. That's a big emotional change because it means Nick is no longer simply the victim of Matt's manipulation. He is also starting to come to terms with his own addiction. The rescue saves his life, but the rehab arc gives his accountability, and that is what makes the aftermath so real in soap terms. The Genoa City story is running parallel to the Vegas disaster and maintains the tension even with everyone focused on the fire. Now that Ken Ashby is confirmed to be a match for bone marrow donation, Lily Winters is feeling more positive about the situation with Malcolm Winters. That development moves the medical story along and gives Lily some hope after all the uncertainty. So she's got some good news for Dr. Stephanie Simmons and Holden Nova, giving the episode at least one emotionally establishing thread in all the chaos. It also supports the idea that some Genoa City stories are going to be fixed while some are blowing up. Billy Abbott's storyline is another counterpoint to the Vegas panic. He sweeps Shelley Spectra off her feet with a magical evening, gives her a rose, and arranges a night of romance. That makes the episode feel more layered because while one half of the canvas is dealing with fire, addiction, and trauma, another half is leaning into hope and connection. Billy and Shelley still have pregnancy worries to work through, but spoilers say that they are on the same page after facing those fears together. The romance isn't the point of the scene, it's the emotional choice to face the unknown together rather than let fear rule the relationship. That contrast is what gives the whole episode its form. Matt's world is full of booby traps, lies, and explosion. Victor's world is one of force, timing, and last-second intervention. Adam lives in a world of guilt and responsibility. Nick's is a story of survival and recovery. Chelsea is an exercise in discipline. Lily and Kane are working in their relationship in the calmer Genoa City threads, and Billy and Shelley are strengthening their connection with romance and fear. In doing so, the episode uses all of these beats to demonstrate how different crises can exist within a soap and yet be connected by the same emotional logic, that everyone is trying to make it through the night without losing the people they love. What's so good about Victor's rescue is that it doesn't erase the damage. It only defends against the worst case of it. The Newmans narrowly escape being burnt alive, but only after being cornered, dragged, trapped, and nearly blown to bits. Matt's plan fails, but the trauma doesn't. Nick needs rehab still, Adam still has guilt to work through, Sharon still has to work through the fear, Noah has yet to come to grips with what happened to him and Sienna, and yet Victor is the man who arrives at just the right time, and the one left holding the pieces of a family that keeps being placed in untenable situation. So this is not only a rescue story, it is the moment when the Vegas nightmare ceases to be about whether the Newmans survive and becomes about what survival cost them. Victor saves the family from Matt's deadly fire trap, but the aftermath shows the real fight is just beginning. Matt didn't get to burn them alive, but the damage he did will echo through the rehab and the guilt and the emotional fallout for days to come. That's what makes the episode so powerful. The flames are doused, but no one walks away unscathed. And here's the part that really stays with you. This wasn't just a rescue, it was a warning. Because when a family survives something this extreme, it usually means something even deeper is about to break. Victor may have saved their lives, but can he save what's left, one their trust in each other? Or is this the moment the cracks finally start to show? What hit me the hardest is this: the fire didn't create the damage, it exposed it. And that kind of truth doesn't just go away, it lingers, it grows, it changes people. Because let's be honest, Nick walking out alive doesn't feel like victory. It feels like the beginning of a much darker fight. And addiction storylines like this rarely get easier before they get worse. And Adam, he may have helped save his brother, but emotionally, he just stepped into a storm of guilt that could follow him for a long time, maybe even change how he sees himself. Now I keep thinking, what happens when the adrenaline wears off and the silence hits? Will this bring the Newman family closer than ever or quietly tear them apart from the inside? And here's the question no one is asking out loud. If Victor hadn't made it in time, would any of them have survived? And how does that kind of what if haunt them moving forward? My gut says this is far from over because Matt may be out of the picture for now, but the emotional damage he caused is just getting started, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone unexpected spiral next. Maybe even when we least see it coming. So keep your eyes on the small moments, the quiet conversation, the looks that say more than words, because that's where the real story is about to unfold. And if you are feeling this shift too, tell me, do you think this rescue saved the Newmans or just delayed something else?